All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? And to be honest with you, I haven't really watched a lot of this trial. Personally, I think most of the court proceedings, if you haven't gathered, about my personal proclivities against most of these trials, I find them mostly cringy, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Over the top method acting for the most part. And none of these people, most of these people just seem barely fucking literate that are going through these hearings and whatnot. I mean, you take in consideration, you had the Amber Heard trial where Johnny Depp said that Amber Heard supposedly took a poop in the bed. And, it's another one of these defamation lawsuits and stuff that they're trying to go ahead and kickstart and get people talking about. Oh, it's a defamation. What's up, Joe? How's it going, man? But it's a defamation lawsuit. It's a defamation. And ultimately, whenever you go ahead and peel back the little outer layer of the onions, you find out that mainly that this is a whole bunch of horse shit. And this is for the whole point of, oh well, look at Amber Heard. She got a defamation lawsuit. See what we did to Alex Jones? You better mind your P's and Q's, or you're going to end up like him. But basically, this is what we're looking at right now is these, litany of what they consider defamation lawsuits and whatnot. First off, it's all about the Sandy Hook shit. Oh, did I say Sandy Hooks? Oh, my bad, Sandy Hook. If y'all know my general consensus whenever it comes to these so-called monotonous that have ever become increasingly fucking monotonous mass shootings. And ultimately, the solution to mass shootings is to stop talking about it. Stop giving the media exactly what they want as a fucking reaction. You know, hold these people accountable for their actions. You know what affects you? Inflation, the gas prices. You know what I'm saying? Worker shortages, food shortages on your shelves. You know, the issues that directly impact you. You don't even know exactly what's going to happen after this ridiculous fucking low dumbed down to the lowest common denominator, Inflation Reduction Act is gonna whenever they start doing these tax hikes and shit on you. The interest rate has already raised up again. This is stuff that will directly affect you. Listening to these people cry in mainstream media, it has no bearing in my life. I don't even know why people watch it. To be honest with you, I don't understand why. This is exactly what's going on right now in the DCEU. Cancel Batgirl. Why? Because the guy who's taken over says, well, this is complete shit. There isn't a market for it. All you do, you get crying everywhere. It's all about virtue signaling, and the market's saturated with it. So why YouTube decides that they're going to go ahead, try to push off all their content creators that had they have a lot of talent on here. They try to push them off, and they run them off to other sites like Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey for some. Um, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a trust buster there. You know what I'm saying? And they're running off all these quality content creators to other sites. Now, whenever I get on YouTube, you always hear some sort of, you know, I watched AEW wrestling, and I can't believe that they're treating Nyla Rose so unfairly. And this is what I hear on the new YouTubers for the most part. Now, not all of you guys. A lot of you guys are old school like I am. So this isn't directed towards you, but just go and check out some of these new YouTubers that are trying to come out and do the same shit that we did with less charisma. I mean, they're not pushing any boundaries as far as their, entertainment perspective. They're not as edgy as we used to be. And you're what? Am I supposed to watch this? Am I supposed to watch the little stick figure guy run across the goddamn bridge, trying to amass a stick figure army, trying to get to the end of the bridge, and a gameplay, and then it's commercial, of some weirded out pin pool, play pin pool, or one of these ridiculous low effort games that they put out that it doesn't even look appealing. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking get the stick figure guy game. Ah, no, absolutely fucking not. But I mean, this is where we're at right now, and this is this fucking state trying to sit there and control everything and of course making more of a mess that isn't even necessary. So what's this Alex Jones thing about? It's another defamation lawsuit. Well, it seems a little fishy. Oh, well, not everything you believe is real. You believe everything that you say is real. Shut up. All right. Uh, Please bring me that judge so I can slap the piss out of her. How come every one of these little shootings, it's always the AR? And then you morons, for the longest, thought that the AR stood for assault rifle. Just saying stupid shit constantly. And I'm supposed to contribute to this somehow. I'm supposed to be invested in these little show trials and stuff, right? But they're so fucking ridiculous. I mean, do they make anything for guys anymore? Do they make any kind of shows for dudes anymore? Is there any kind of entertainment? I have to go back years, and find something, to watch for entertainment. I have to watch old stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You sit there and watch Logan Paul in the Miz in a segment, and they're trying to push this new soap opera. I could tell Stephanie's got her hands back into creative, and it's going the same way. Where the numbers are going to continuously go. We got to market to females more. Double down on that. Yeah, that's going to work. Yeah, females are going to definitely be into wrestling. All right, that they're going to keep that. They're going to make that market thrive. And it's AEW is just as bad. They fucking cater to the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's trying to be practical. Nobody's trying to sit there and say, hey, we're marketing towards guys. This is what guys like. No, everybody's like, oh, let's bring in some hipsters and some trendy millennials. And, that's exactly what happened to the dudes. That's why Batwoman got canceled. So why The Flash will more than likely get canceled. This strong woman, overpowering. We got to bury you in this right here and double down on your social engineering so we can get a female president in. So we could sit there and say that you're sexist, racist. We could discriminate against you. Basically, it gives them carte blanche to fucking discriminate against everybody. I can't stand Becky Lynch. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that. So I mean, this is exactly what it is. Their fucking State Department bullshit isn't working, and it's becoming even less. More and more people are starting to wake up to it. If you would have came up to me about 7 years ago, whenever I first started YouTube, it was kind of taboo to sit there and touch on these subjects of saying, yeah, that's probably fake. Yeah, that's probably staged. And even back then, I'm saying if they keep on hitting the dummy button, more and more people are going to wise up to that fucking dummy button, and they're going to start to understand. And then it's going to be less and less taboo. Well, now you come up to your 50th mass shooting, your Buffalo shooter. Oh, he walked into Tops, and then he apologized to all the white people and shut. You see how fucking stupid the stories have become? This is how dumb they think that you are. So how am I? This is generic. This is absolutely garbage. This is not even putting any effort into anything. And then the next week later, you do a Uvalde thing. Okay. And it's always the AR. It's the same old monotonous generic ass story. It's a white shooter with an AR, and he's targeting minorities. We need to go ahead and rattle your base. And there's no base for you to fucking rattle anymore. You know why? There's no base for you to rattle anymore, YouTube. You know why? There's no base for you to rattle anymore, Twitter. You know why you're not getting these kind of reactions anymore on Facebook and on all of these other big tech platforms, on Instagram, whatever the hell? It's because you suspend or straight out terminate people, ban their accounts. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't handle honest dialogue. You can't handle your little propaganda can't handle any real time fucking scrutiny. So you have to sit there and censor every fucking body. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a left-right paradigm anymore. It's the left against everybody. That's exactly what it is. And so you've marginalized down your base so far, and it's funny how it's a waste of money. It's a waste of fucking time to put these little people on TV on the media. It's a waste of time to have these people roll out, you're paying millions of dollars to come out and say, oh, the Democrats are surging in the polls because it looks like Roe v. Wade must be a bigger topic than we thought it was originally. And their stupid little fucking news columnist fucking voice, whatever it is, Brian Stelter or whoever the hell. And it doesn't make any sense. You damn sure don't see it in your fucking women's protests because you ain't got enough money to pay all these people to rightfully activate anymore, Your budget is kind of dwindling down, slowly but surely. And as you push people like myself and various others off of the fucking site, well, then all of a sudden they start to lose interest in these sites. Like I said, I need to get with Andre Corbill, and if Andre Corbill sees this video after it's uploaded, you need to leave a link to your Rumble, because I don't think I'm subscribed to you on Rumble. I just started using Rumble more and more, and I subscribed to Hard Bastard and Steven Crowder, but to be honest with you, I started using it a little bit more. So I need to start subscribing to certain people that I follow on Rumble. And I get it. I get it. But these guys do a lot more on Rumble because there's more freedoms on Rumble. There's more freedoms on BitChute. There's more freedoms on these other sites. You know what I'm saying? These sites are dying. It's a dying platform. So yeah, this is exactly why I just do these little blogs now. Why would I go ahead and pull out a Sleeper Taking Over or a Prodigal Hill, do a little work here and there, and you don't know if it's going to get taken down? There's no telling how much of my work was taken down on the Prodigal Hill channel, my original Prodigal Hill. This was the new Prodigal Hill. There's no telling how much of my work y'all took down, screwed over, how many viral videos y'all got rid of that actually got views, that were actual views, not me trying to do sub for sub, not me trying to go out there and, just me being one of the first ones to sit there and talk about something, or me doing some sort of kayfabe character, or me having a fucking, doing wrestling kayfabe or something, doing works, they got interest, that YouTube just decided to piss away. I meant this is ultimately by your own design. The failure of the left and Democrats and Silicon Valley and the California legislators that try to come out and try to pretend like they have any kind of real valid points. These stupid show trials that you're doing in the case of Alex Jones or January the 6th out, and nobody's really watching this or paying attention or having opinions about this. Not in reality. It's not in reality. It's only in your little fucking echo chambers on Twitter. You think that it's popular. You think that it's trending. But I can guarantee you that a number of these people that are in the fucking comment section right now won't even use Twitter, not ever again. You know what I'm saying? I know Andre's not going to use Twitter again. Michael King told me he'll never use Twitter again. Most of the people I know, that had a Twitter at one point in time, maybe at some point in time, will never use Twitter again. And the only reason that I really even use Twitter at this point in time is to give me topics, the dumb shit that y'all talk about, for the most part. And I don't even cover it as much. I just sit there and look at your algorithms. And this is the same thing that I did with the election. That fucking YouTube decided, oh, you can't talk about algorithms. This is the whole reason why you removed the dislikes on YouTube. This is exactly why you removed the dislikes on YouTube. Because if anybody saw the real numbers behind the shit that you fling on the wall and pray for it to stick, just like it says in the fucking descriptions, if anybody looked behind it, they'd see that you're just absolutely full of shit at the end of the day. Everybody at Silicon Valley, none of you, the fact checkers, have no fucking, there's none. You've lost all credibility. And to be honest with you, California, in kind, just being a byproduct of Silicon Valley, loses more credibility because of this. They represent your state. This represents the mindset of your state. You look at the legal, the legal acumen in fucking California is dead last in the fucking state. The educations are 42nd in the United States in education, is what California is. We're down there at the bottom. They try to pretend like California is this destination for higher learning, but it's not at the end of the day. Not in the public school system, anyways. So you have all these people trying to make these rules for these social media sites. Well, what happens whenever people just say, you know what, screw it, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to have a Facebook anymore. And and this has already started. I don't see a lot of reactions on Facebook. There has to be something to go ahead and take that void, but I don't see any reactions on Facebook. Twitter is marginalized to only what media and celebrities for the most part. Every once in a while, you'll get the occasional people that are on there. For the most part, a lot of these people are YouTubers, or they're in some way connected. Trying to start an. But other than that, it's you don't see a lot of organic traffic. You don't see a lot of reactions. And in fact, like I said, you go with the 10-year-old girl who cried, stay mine, she cried, stay mine, with the abortion thing from Indiana. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody's sitting there listening to your fucking sappy ass uh, handsmaid tales, little fucking things that you, because this is a situation you put yourself in. The left put themselves in this situation. The Democrats, the reason why you lost Roe v. Wade is because the Democrats decided, the fucking Congress, under Trump, they all got behind these mandates, and they got behind these IDs, and that ultimately makes abortion effectively, and makes it infanticide. It's exactly what it is now. You can't depend. You can't hold. You can't hide behind those those constitutional rights. You can't put abortion behind those constitutional rights, because you made those constitutional rights null and void whenever you started to allow people to discriminate based on vax or unvaxxed. So, you reap what you sow, and they just keep on building their own grave. So I'm supposed to invest in some sort of sham trial, and I'm supposed to pretend that it's real, by the way. I mean, I get it. The YouTubers are going to use this to go ahead and get some views. It's exactly what the fuck I'm using it for, pretty much, is because people are talking about it. So I figured I would do a video on it. But it's an absolute sham. It's a waste of time. I mean, there's no real legal discourse here to be had, because you cannot sit there and find somebody guilty on something that was staged anyways. It was a staged mass casualty event that you tried to project out there as real, just like the shit that happened in Las Vegas, just like the shit that happened in fucking Parkland, just like all of these, just like the shit in Uvalde, just like the shit in Buffalo. And there's a lot more evidence that people have. And mind you, that this evidence is just sitting there, and it's just collecting, and it's congealing. People already understand this, but this is the shit that's going to be held against you. Some point in time, you're going to answer for this. It's. I think that America has been pretty fucking patient. I think that the Patriots have been pretty fucking patient. I know that us, people here that are in the middle, that swear no allegiance to one side or the other, we've been patient. We've given we the independents and the people that are, not associated with one side or the other. There's people that I dislike on both sides. There's people that I like on both sides. However, the people that are in the middle, and you could tell there's nobody that leans left that's in the middle. The people that's in the middle gave the Democrats every chance to go ahead and reform, to go ahead, change their policies, to change their, but they won't do it. They double down on it, and they allowed. The bad thing is the Democrat Party is pretty much run like a fucking mafia at this point in time. Not that the Republicans are super great. They're getting pretty close to being the same kind of fucking like a mob family of their own. However, the fucking Democrats are run like a mafia, and they're dwindling supporters. They're fucking sycophants right now, mainly in the media and mainly government jobs and stuff. These are the people that really tend to vote Democrat. I guarantee you the teachers and stuff like that vote Democrat, only because it's in their self-interest. They can go ahead and keep siphoning off money off the state at the taxpayer dole and whatnot, But It's mostly these people that vote Democrat. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we could tell that you know, these people that are teaching your kids are definitely not the best and the brightest. So I mean, they're just double down on it, and they're used to having these politicians walk around on them, saying you better vote for us, or else the Republicans are going to put you in jail, and you're going to sit there. The Republicans aren't going to do that. They would be just as successful at doing any kind of martial law military operations against its own people as the Democrats would be, even if they wanted to become tyrannical. It wouldn't happen. But I do think that we are moving into a theocracy, which is far more dangerous than what we have right now. You know what I'm saying? We could see that the secular way of the government is just not going to be able to sustain. You know what I'm saying? You still have these sociopaths getting in power, trying to mandate their own personal conjecture. Whenever it's a theocracy, it's a moralistic. There is more an objective morality to it. So it's kind of hard to fight against that system than it is a system right here of a bunch of fucking goofs that are probably not qualified to be a fucking judge saying, you need to sit down and shut up, Alex Jones. This is not your show. It looks so fucking generic that there's just nothing else to say. You can't say that you're bankrupt. No, the motherfucker can totally say that he's bankrupt. It's up to them to prove it, right? You ever heard of the Fifth Amendment? Then just fucking use the Fifth Amendment. I mean, like I said, it's all ridiculous and it's all a scam. I mean, there's no, there's, after the 500th fucking mass shooting, after the most communist, and we understand that you're trying to pass the Trans-Pacific Partnership, trying to get small arms agreements. And it's funny that it's always the AR. It's only the AR that they ever go after. They don't go after the AK or any of the other things. It's just the AR. Why is it just the AR? It's just not enough reason, And I'm damn sure not going to give up my sovereignty. And like I said, the Alex, these little defamation show trials and stuff. That too is a part of the that too is part of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They want to, if you say something against a corporation that causes them to lose money or to lose any kind of, if you get like sick because you ate a McDonald's hamburger and another person gets sick and they start to lose money because y'all create this panic, well, then McDonald's should be able to sue you. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. And it's funny they claim that, oh, you're a fascist, you're a racist. That's what they always say. Yeah. But you're trying to you just like that you're bootlicking for the corporations because you don't want to raise minimum wage. Give me a reason to want to go ahead and raise minimum wage then. Show up to work on time. Do your job. Be efficient at your job. Work quicker. I'd like to have access to these stores that used to be open 24 hours a day and now they're only open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. I'd like to go out and, do night shopping. I'd like to have these conveniences, but I don't have these conveniences. So why should you be rewarded with $15 an hour? For a lot of the times you go up to these, and if I'm going to fast food, understand that I'm in a rush. I want the food to be fast. Why am I waiting 20 minutes to get a double cheeseburger at McDonald's? You go to a Taco Bell, our system's down, and we can't take any orders. And this has happened a number of times. Or you run out of taco meat. Or you run out of chicken if you're KFC. It's absolutely fucking... Did you hear about the White House declaring SCOTUS ruling on abortion as unconstitutional? They're going to use Medicaid to fund abortions. And these people, like I said, all they're going to do is end up getting abortion. They're going to get a universal ban on abortion. They're going to sit there because abortion isn't a constitutional right. It's not protected by the Constitution. There's no place in the Constitution where it says you have the right to get an abortion at all, period. So I meant, ultimately at the end of the day, they have no argument. You have no right to privacy. You've already made that abundantly fucking clear. So I mean, I'm not even up to entertaining that position at all. It's about bodily autonomy, right? Is that what it's about? Because you sure didn't have fucking body autonomy whenever y'all were trying to fucking mandate the vaccine. You were allowed to discriminate. So I don't want to hear that shit neither. Your arguments are junk. They're generic, and I don't want to hear them anymore. And whenever it's not going to fucking matter, abortion isn't going to save you. It's not going to save you. You're still going to get your ass whooping in 2022. That's exactly what the fuck is going to happen. And the reason why you're going to get your ass whooping in 2022 is because thousands and thousands, if not millions of people have came here on YouTube. Not only me, but various other people have come on YouTube and said that all this inflation was going to end up hitting, like we said, you dropped helicopter money under the Trump administration, but we said that this inflation was going to hit back from 2013, 2014. We've been sitting there calling for it, talking about the debt. You ignored it. That's exactly what happened. You called us conspiracy theorists. And then not only that, you go ahead and print out trillions of more dollars in stimulus money on a plot device that you created. And then you expect us to go ahead and give you, any more power? Absolutely fucking not. No, I'm not even willing to hear any of this shit. I don't care what Joe Biden says. I don't care. They're doing this for their base. They're trying to give their base, the dwindling base, the 25 or so million that still vote fucking Democrat for whatever reason, and it's not that many. Trust me on that one. The base is not that many. It's not. So the 25 million motherfuckers that still vote Democrat, they're trying to energize up because they know they're going to get their ass whipped in 2022. It's not even going to be an issue anymore. And no doubt that they do rig elections. A lot of the shit, whenever 2022 rolls around, the media the media wants numbers. They're about to get a lot of fucking numbers. The media will get more numbers whenever Biden gets impeached. And Kamala and Pelosi will be gone. She'll be off into the fucking, because, she'll be replaced more than likely with Mitt Romney, which I'm not a fan of neither. I suspect it'll be Mitt Romney. That'll replace Nancy Pelosi. I have a feeling that that's who they're going to try to push into the speaker role as the Republicans. And they're going to, try to get fucking Joe Biden and Kamala out. I mean, the globalists already at this point in fucking time already have to realize that the Democrats are a waste. They're a waste. They're going to have to back, I think that they're going to have to get backing actually, and that's just to go ahead and, keep their head above water. And I think that this is more biblical in nature, but it is what it is. This isn't working. We can tell the shit in Sri Lanka. We can tell the shit in Canada that happened with the trucker protest, the shit that happened in the Netherlands with the Dutch farmers. The same stuff is happening in the UK. The same stuff is happening in Israel. They have their protests going on in New Zealand. They have protests going on in Australia. Whenever it hits here, it's game over because we are the world reserve currency. These people are already, going after world banks. They did it. They ended up, I think, doing something in Iran just a couple of years ago to their world bank. They didn't want that shit in there. But, we are the world reserve currency. And when that shit hits here, well, then all them dominoes are going to start to fall. And then that's whenever the shit will really hit the fan. I'm not sure if it'll happen, that I suspect that, at this point in time, they have no other choice but to give the Democrats, even if they wanted to rig the fucking elections in 2022. So the Democrats, I don't think that would be wise at all. I don't think that would be wise. I think that would be, I think that would be a bad move, even for the conceited deep state to think that they're on the inside, so they know everything that's going on. They actually know probably less about what's going on right now than they did probably 4 or 5 years ago. Because, you think about 4 or 5 years ago, everybody put their shit out on social media. But most of these people that you considered a red flag with your little social credit score, I mean, you don't have any credit on your own. You don't have any credibility on your own. How are you going to give other people credit scores? how are the fucking fact checkers who just said that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez really got arrested whenever everybody knows for a damn fact that she didn't get arrested? You're not going to find any police report on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's not going to happen because she didn't get arrested. So I mean, they just said that fucking Joe Biden just drone strike this terrorist that died 2 years ago in the fucking mountains because of asthma. And people are, so where are these fact checkers at? You know what I'm saying? No, you've lost credibility. I mean, these institutions, these people that you've put in charge were probably not qualified to be put in charge of these institutions to begin with. However, it's people like myself that you have to convince there's an issue anymore. And I'm finding it hard and hard. And, there could be something that happens. Yeah, it could be very, very fucking real. But I'm still going to be skeptical of it. I'm going to have proof. I'm going to have to see evidence of it. Because you've killed your credibility that much with me. You're like the boy that cried wolf. That's exactly what the hell we're at right now. So I meant, you get no real traffic. All your traffic is generic on all these sites. Nobody's watching your media programs. They're dying off slowly or surely. Look at CNN Plus. You're trying to do all that stuff. Disney stock dropped almost $100, probably 110 at one point in time, over $100 within the span of like the month of them doing their stuff. What was it? You had what was it? Morpheus bombed, but I think that was a Sony picture, which is, I liked it okay, but how well did Thor: Love and Thunder do? And not that great. I didn't think it would. It wasn't that great of a show. And I meant, out of the few people who are just diehards that will just watch it, to watch it, it just wasn't that great of a movie. So I meant, it looks like that the MCU is, you're going to do the same thing with the MCU that you did to Star Wars. And all this money that you're invested into Star Wars, into the MCU to bring these forms of entertainment to Disney, they're losing a lot of the ESPN. Look at what you've done to ESPN. I mean, does anybody still watch ESPN really at the end of the day? Because I don't watch it. I haven't watched ESPN in years. So I mean, that's dying off. You look at the interest in the internet. I've already said it. I think that the Twitter dropped like some what was it, 10 points or some $10 or something like that after Elon pulled out. And you think that that's a victory for you? Okay. Well, what happens whenever Twitter isn't no longer solvent? You said somebody buys it. I'd laugh my ass off if I was Elon Musk. I'd buy something like either Minds or Gab, one of those two sites, and then use that site as your internet platform to go ahead and compete with like Donald Trump. And use that as your free speech forums, Gab or Minds. Get them out here on these, where you can download an app and people can start using it. And I guarantee you that all of a sudden, the Twitterverse and your Facebookverse and your YouTubeverse, the more these platforms become more accessible to people, whether it be BitChute, whether it be Rumble, whether it be Gab, whether it be Minds, the more that these platforms become more accessible on these phones and stuff, on these devices, and people can use them as a way to communicate with each other, then the more people are going to leave YouTube. They're going to leave. Facebook. They're going to leave Minds. They're going to leave Gab. They're going to leave Twitter, and then they're going to go to these other platforms because they'll be more pragmatic for actual social media use. You can't post anything on Facebook anymore, hardly. I hardly see anybody post on Facebook anymore. People just have a Facebook, but mainly use it for Messenger. But if you got, like I said, a Gab and you got a Messenger service to go along with Gab, you invested in, like, these are pennies on the dollar compared to your Twitter. You can combine all three, Buy Minds, buy Gab, buy BitChute, or buy Rumble. I think Rumble's owned by Yahoo, so you'd probably be better off if Elon bought Minds, Gab, and BitChute. Then he can kind of combine all three to, work with each other and to work across platforms and whatnot. Start to challenge Google. This is the leftist version of capitalism. This is the leftist version, this is the leftist version. The leftists are actually currently fascist, but they want to be communist. That's where we're at right now. And right now, the Republicans are fascist, but we want to be capitalist. And this is where the disagreement is. If anybody calls you a fucking fascist, call them a hypocrite because they're a fascist too. Our economy is a fascist economy. But I was listening to David Pacman sit there and yammer on about fucking economical acumen that he'll never have in his fucking life. Sitting there rattling off about, well, we're going to go ahead and start increasing taxes. And the reason why we're having a recession right now is because the government isn't spending money. See, that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how our economy is designed to work. The government the government should only take in enough, taxes for it to function properly. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't require the government to invest outside of the fucking, our economy shouldn't be based on government contracts. You know what I'm saying? It still should run like a capitalist economy in a real world scenario. Get rid of the income tax. It's not helping anything. We're $30 trillion in debt, and those income taxes haven't solved the damn problem that all of these leftists bitch about. You still have homeless people out there. $30 trillion in debt, and you still have homeless people. $30 trillion in debt, and you still don't have any kind of renewable alternative, economical fucking reusable fuel. You know what I'm saying? That's clean. You don't have any of it. You don't have any new forms of transportation that's out there. You know what I'm saying? It's all still the basic shit. Really, we should have cures for cancer about now. We should have these cures for these diseases that you claim that are affecting everybody, but we don't. So where are these tax dollars going to? They can damn sure take the tax dollars because the weather changes, but they can't do anything to stop it. So, what's the point of us giving you any of those tax dollars? What's the point of you reaching into our pocket and taking that out? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it's just a big swindle. It's a big scam. And then, it's always a boogeyman. They've got to have some sort of enemy to justify the income tax in the first place. This is why they got to keep perpetual wars going forever. And they want to get you in war with Russia. I'd be more apt to go to fucking war with China because they've been pissing me off here lately. You know what I'm saying? They've been trying to kick us around too much. Oh, you can't put any negative Chinese stuff in your thing. And if you mention China, fuck you. Who are you? China would be nothing. Like I said, China would almost have to rely completely on fucking Russia to come to their aid. I have no problem with Russia. I have no issues with Russia. But you think that the Chinese government is going to be able to sit there and sustain, any kind of real modern warfare? I don't think so. And I don't think that a lot of their people would be reluctant to fight on their behalf. Look at how they treat their regular citizens. You know what I'm saying? China would be screwed. So I certainly don't give a shit about China. And, they use slave labor anyway. So, I believe a cure for most things, but keep it hidden from the population as control, as well as big pharma. And yeah, that's another thing. I do think that they do keep a lot of these diseases out there so they could profit off of charity organizations like Susan B. Komen and shit. I do believe that. And so, yeah, I'm totally on board with that, Dark Horse. That I believe that for years. However, even if I think for $30 trillion fucking dollars, we deserve a cure for cancer right about now. For $30 trillion, we deserve to have that fuel cell being an alternative source for society. instead of you sitting there saying, well, we're going to go with Tesla and creating another coal problem, which is bound to happen. Oh, we can't use the hydrogen cars, but we can use these coal burning cars. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense, right? Yeah, trying to save the environment. Yeah, you got to. The problem is that we allow these people to sit there and dictate our shit in society, and they don't have enough brains to plug an ant's ass. So, I mean, they're just fucking clowns at this point. They're just absolutely clowns. Look at you can't take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seriously as a fucking politician. You can't take Joe Biden seriously. You can't take Nancy Pelosi seriously. These are proxies. They're clowns. They're imitators. Just like all these court proceedings that go on. They're actors and they're pretending that they're going through the motions, whether it be the fucking Alex Jones trial or whether it be the January 6th trial. It's just a fucking clown show. And ultimately, as YouTubers, I get it. I watch Hard Bastard and I watch a lot of these other guys that cover this. And they market off of it. I'm not going to fault them at all. I'm glad the media doesn't get any views out of it. I would not suggest watching. Let those motherfuckers collapse. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be a nice day whenever these big tech social media platforms start to collapse. You know what I'm saying? Whenever all of us just decide, hey, this isn't worth our investment. We're not getting, as fucking content creators, we're not getting, we're not reaping anything out of this. Like for me personally, it's just getting to know people on here. That's the whole reason. I don't have any commercials. The only time I've ever had commercials is whenever I was getting last flagged and I went ahead, signed a contract to make it harder for people to flag me for about a year just to protect my last channel. And then I got out of the contract. But yeah, I never was a big fan of putting commercials in my stuff. So I mean, for me, it wasn't even about trying to get people out there, trying to see if people are out there like me that hate John Cena at the time, whether it's hating John Cena, hating Daniel Bryant, hate Hillary Clinton, whatever it is, throwing it out there, seeing how many of us really are out there. And seeing, putting out my opinion and saying, hey, you're not alone if you don't like Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone if you don't like Barack Hussein Obama. If you're going to vote for Trump this year, guess what? You're not alone, because I'm going to vote for Trump this year too. Of course, I probably won't vote for Trump in 2024, but that's me. You can do what you want. I'm not going to fault you for voting for Trump. I doubt I will vote. However, there's a lot of motherfuckers that will vote for Trump, and I see it. I'll point it out. I voted for Trump in, 2022, and this is what we got. So, if, like I said, they're pushing this shit. The Democrats are just failing miserably. And like I said, they're, trying to cater to a base that really isn't there anymore. I mean, they've killed their platform. Their platform is dead. You've killed it off. And ultimately, like I said, they're trying to sit there and put up these little charades and stuff, hoping they can energize some sort of base. But that base isn't there. Effectively, you told that base to go fuck itself whenever you decided to run with Hillary Clinton instead of Bernie Sanders. I may not like Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't have voted for Bernie Sanders. But if I was a Democrat, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. You know what I'm saying? And just the same way that if I was a Republican and they try to shoehorn in Mitt Romney, if I was a Republican, I would be pissed. I'd be pissed if Romney got in office. But yeah. I just figured I'd do a quick video on this. Didn't want to do a real long one, and it's already 44 minutes. But yeah, the whole Alex Jones stuff and the whole deep state shit, it's really kind of getting to be to the point to where, it isn't even worth reacting to anymore at the end of the day. Find the policy, whatever the hell they're trying to push, the propaganda, do your video on it, but it's certainly not worth investing in watching putting any serious time and effort in watching the stuff. Particularly if you are going to watch it, then watch it on archives or watch it on independent channels to on so you're not giving the view to these same propagandists who are pushing the bullshit. But it's certainly not enough to get worried about. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, these people, you know, uh, yeah, they're gonna have to face their own. There's no way. There's just no way at this point in time. So it looks like that swamp is probably gonna end up draining itself. I can in a real world scenario, I can see the shit that's going on in Sri Lanka happening here in the not too distant future, particularly if they keep on pushing the people the way that they are. If inflation keeps infecting people, if the gas prices keep affecting people, if we start losing jobs in the private market because of these ridiculous taxes, well then, who's going to be, are those military people are those National Guard members? I mean, you're already at 2 million. You're already trying to get people that are, vets that are my age to go back into the military, trying to recruit us back in. But you think I'm going to protect your rabbit ass though? No, absolutely not. It's just not practical for me to get involved. Now, had something changed, then maybe, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, well, the thing about to me, this is why I don't really mind Joe Biden being president, is because Joe Biden's a weak president too. So Joe Biden isn't going to get anything done. And I mean, Joe Biden's so horrible right now, people are considering Donald Trump as a real world possibility. And, I'm it's still incomplete for Donald Trump for me to actually judge Donald Trump fairly. So because he only got one term, but the sheer fact that the same guy that supposedly you put all this effort in to discredit 4 years, you know what I'm saying, of Russian narrative bullshit where you've allowed these motherfuckers, this shows the double standard for YouTube and their community guidelines. You allowed these motherfuckers 4 years to go ahead and sit there and accuse the Trump administration of winning an honest election. Let me tell you the real world election results for the 2016 election. Donald Trump had about 62 million votes, thereabouts. So that's pretty accurate for his vote count. But Hillary Clinton probably had more like, I'd say 22 or 23. She probably didn't even beat Jill Stein. I guarantee you Jill Stein probably got more votes than Hillary Clinton. And I guarantee you that Gary Johnson was probably a close third. They got humiliated in 2016. This is why, because, you can't sit there and say that Russia rigged the election and then still claim that Hillary won the popular vote. Well, then Russia didn't rig the election for Donald Trump. Clearly, they were trying to rig the election for Hillary. That would be what a pragmatist would say. If Russia was trying to rig the election, they were trying to rig it for Hillary. They wouldn't try to rig it for Trump. So, it is what it is. And, you allow these people 4 years to sit there and push that horse shit. And now people can't be allowed on YouTube to question the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Well, why is that? Is it because so many people are questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election? And you don't want to rebel rouse? Is that it? Well, this makes you complicit in if any kind of wrongdoing now. It makes these fucking it makes these people that do these community, it makes you complicit. Is exactly what it does. So now you've drawn your line in the sand and say, no, you can't question our results. Okay, well, whenever the discourse changes in this country, whenever people have had enough of the shit going on, we'll see how well that community guidelines will protect you then, because it's not. And I mean, I ain't gonna have to. California is collapsing right now as it is. You know what I'm saying? The infrastructure of California is collapsing in on itself. And so whenever you add in the effects of these taxes that are going to hit, right? They're going to hit California too. They're going to hit those private sectors of California. Whenever these people start to lose their jobs, And whenever these people start to realize that there's a lot of crime going on, whenever they're tired of all the forest fires going on in California, whenever they're tired of all these STD outbreaks that they have every other year, whenever they have a, because they pay that money, they pay more in taxes than we do. By far, they pay more in taxes than we do. What if Californians gotten out of those taxes that they pay? All that money that they've paid in California, they get months on end forest fires every other fucking year. You know what I'm saying? STD outbreaks, hepatitis B outbreaks, crimes in their stores. You can't even keep a store open in California anymore. Well, what's going to happen whenever these people finally snap? Only time will tell. These people, you've already radicalized them, and you've already gotten them to that point to where they're almost like a caged animal. They're kind of vicious. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want to, man. It's not working anymore. People are waking up. People are understanding. People are getting tired of this repetitive bullshit. The Democrats should have stopped what they were doing, went back, reformed, restructured, just allowed Trump that second term, then they wouldn't be suffering for this. Like I said, if I was Trump, I would let him do the same thing. If I was Trump, if I was president of the United States in 2016, and these goofs were sitting there saying the same shit about me, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to let them rig the election. Whenever the economy collapses, I'm going to sit there and point it just like Trump did. They say that the 4D chess thing isn't real. Well, he damn sure played your ass. So Biden, Pelosi, and the Democrats, they get hit with this. They get hit with the recession. It is their fault. So it is at least Pelosi and Biden's fault. It's y'all's fault. So take your bow. Now they're trying to do everything they can to salvage anything. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't try to dump helicopter money into the economy some way, somehow, to go ahead and, make it appear that things are looking up and that the economy is doing better. But ultimately, that's just a band-aid, and that's only going to create more stimulus and make that debt skyrocket even more, make your money less valuable while you're just printing it out like fucking monopoly money. So yeah, that appears to be exactly where they're headed. I don't think that the Democrats have a snowball's chance in hell, to be honest with you. And so, 2022, if what I think happens in 2022 happens, then expect a lot of meltdowns from the left, from the media. Uh, Hard Bastard seems to think that they're going to try and hold on control, but I think that 2022 will be a metric year for them. I don't know if they're going to, because they started rigging, well, they've been rigging elections since Obama was in office, but I don't think that they're going to be able to sit there and manipulate this election quite the same way, kind of like in 2016. They weren't able to manipulate the election like that. They were able to manipulate the election in 2024 or 2020, ultimately because they ran out all of these little propaganda things. So to them, through their stupid straw polls and stuff, they were able to justify it. And they're not justifying it to us, they're justifying it to themselves with little generic reactions from shield accounts and shit. You're getting responses, reactions. They thought that, hey, we're getting a lot of traffic. They didn't realize that the traffic was telling them what kind of dipshits they were, going around disliking it. This is why you get rid of the organic algorithms here on YouTube with the likes dislikes. I know that they've taken dislikes off of some of these videos for the left before they took away the dislike button. You can still see the dislikes, but they've taken away probably thousands of dislikes from Joe Biden. So they're kind of in a position to where in 2022 they can't screw around like they did in 2019. I don't think people are going to buy the monkeypox shit. I don't think that people will be outraged if they try to do the same shit with COVID. And I think that it's going to be harder for them to go ahead and do a still like they did in 2020. It's going to be hard for them to manipulate the masses. Just me from what I see right now on paper. But the closer that we get to November, the more psychotic the fucking news will be. And most of it's going to be fake. Just be prepared for some ridiculous, off the wall shit to happen. Maybe even another. I'm going to go out on a record right now and say that there'll probably be another mass shooting. I would probably say around October time frame, probably October the 1st. Seems to be, that first week in October, definitely. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there for posterity purposes. So whenever they say, yo, well, you said that this shooting was fake, and you were saying that they were crisis actors. Yeah, well, I was saying it was fake before you did it. So, and that's one of the reasons why, I had to monetize my channel. I did a pre-recorded video before one of the mass shootings in October, I think, a few years ago that they were trying to run to. And boy, that got me red flagged on YouTube. But I mean, whenever you develop these patterns and these algorithms, people are going to look into them and they're going to start to understand them. And then, you start to lose a lot of credibility. And it has nothing to do with me. It just has to do with how fucking monotonous that the people in the State Department has come. It's like, they have no real personalities. It's all the same shit. I mean, whatever you're paying these people, they're overpaid. I'm just going to say that right now. There's no real imagination. It's all monotonous bullshit. The stories are your fucking propagandists that you go ahead and give these little fucking scripts to. They have no personalities. Their fucking reactions are fucking generic as hell. And yeah, people are just quite tired of it. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. You people tell me what you think. If you like, sub, do the shit YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, tell me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.